Right, I've been getting asked quite a bit now to show the standard sort of builds I play with when running around solo. So I'm just going to show you all of the builds I have on character 1, which is like my solo character. Pretty much run all of these builds pretty regularly. I'm always chopping and changing depending on what mood I'm in, how much caffeine I've had, who's given me chocolate. You know, just generally running around doing general boring stuff. Minus 2 of these builds. One because it's just not finished yet, and the other one is because it's Heartbreaker. I can't get along with this set. It's fun, it's interesting. I just don't like it. Maybe if they ever get around to doing the whole specialization rework, because I don't know what it is, but in my head, Technician is for healers and skill builds. Heartbreaker is neither, really. So why would I put Technician on? Because the laser will just shoot the guy in the head. Yeah, but the best damage is friggin' Kingbreaker. Good luck shooting anything outside of 5 centimeters. So the build annoys me in its entirety. But anyway, minus my go-to favorite build. I'm going to be showing you the rest because there's a little thing coming up with my go-to favorite build at some point. So first build is Umbreon. This is my Umbra Initiative build. 4-piece Umbra Initiative, Grupo chest with Obliterate, Memento. I run Carbine 7 with Strained and Sweet Dreams. Is it Sweet Dreams? Yeah, Sweet Dreams. Next build is Chlamydia. Then we have Pew Shield Pew. This is like my weird tanky-ish build. Yeetus Deletus is my mortar build. Aggressive Negotiations. I wonder where I got that from. Negotiate Dilemma build. Then we have America for True Patriot along with the FAL. True Patriot America, obviously. FAL is British. Then we have my crit skills for a critical skill build. And obviously we have Bloody Knuckles, Tic Tacs, Tac Tips, blah. Lazy Cheese, Reggie my boy, Regulus build, obviously. Like butter, because it spreads like butter. Yeah. Strike 4, aptly named because Strike 3 swore I'd never touch strikers again, and now I've got about 50 different strikers build. King of Hearts, I hate this build. And then there's no, which is designed to be my PFE build, but it's going horribly because the only improvised gears that I have actually received are trash. Luckily my chest and backpack are pretty good. But the improvised ones are looking pretty nasty, and I'm actually missing 6 13% PFEs and 1 for 12. At the moment I'm going with 12. This eventually will be going to Firewall. At the moment I'm hanging around on Survivalist because it gives me more PFE. I believe this is at like 70% as of the moment, but yeah, this is my work in progress build for random solo play. Each one of these has been designed for me to play solo. I'll be going over them a little bit more detail, but yeah. Anyway, strikers. Obviously, gonna get the meta ones out of the way first because who really cares about meta? 4-piece strikers, Grupo chest, Coyote's mask. I'm using Honey Badger because I really like the weapon along with Future Perfect, just to give strikers a little bit of utility because that's the one thing strikers actually lacks. Strikers is currently the top end AR and SMG DPS meta. I'm sure LMG as well, but why would you run LMG on strikers? Bit weird. Anyway, yeah, just gonna speed up the footage because we got a fair few to get through. Reggie, my boy, my second sort of only meta build. This is all weapon handling, headshot, and it's all about the Regulus. The other weapons there are kind of just for show. I use preservation just to help keep me alive, which is on the White Death. Typically the meta build would run contractors. I am running 2-piece Walker and Harris, so I still get my damage to armor, not as much as what contractors would give, but I get another weapon handling role, which if you're like me and can't aim to save your life, yeah, this comes in handy. Umbra Initiative. I love but hate Umbra. I love it because it rewards you for using the cover-to-cover system and mechanics. I hate it because there's going to be times where you're like, oh my god, I really need more damage to deal with this. But you've got the opposite stack active, and it ends up being this weird to and fro of majority of the time it works when you need it to work. But on that one bloody occasion where it decides to be a bell end and not work and throws you a curveball, it's beyond infuriating and often leaves you to get absolutely annihilated. So I've paired it with Memento, simply just because it allows me to do a few more things that I wouldn't normally be able to do with varying other backpacks. It's definitely not best in slot for this. It just suits the playstyle that I like to incorporate with Umbra, and yeah, it's a build that I use seldom, but when I do, it's normally quite fun. I like using it in a bit more open world rather than mission situations, just because it's a lot more versatile, whereas if you're using it in a mission, it kind of forces you to be a bit linear. chlamydia, tea's ready. Yeah, just because it spreads. Plague of the Outcast, so I've called this build chlamydia. Don't ask. Pestilence build, obviously. This is a fun build to play. It doesn't get used anywhere near as much as it should do, despite the fact that Pestilence is de facto my favourite weapon. I love the damn thing. Problem is, Pestilence itself is actually a pretty bad weapon. You end up either over-relying on the ticks, which is not the best way to go, or you end up over-relying on the crit. And if you're going to over-rely on the crit, there's so many better LMGs to actually use. It's just a fun little gimmick I like to play every now and then. It's always good when you've got 4 people playing Pestilence in a group, because it's just sort of like, you get an STD, you get an STD, and you get an STD. Yeah, it's just a little bit of fun. Good old negotiators. Good old nego. Right. I have opted not to use the negotiator's backpack simply because of where I'm playing solo, typically, with this character. So, not using the backpack and opting for a backpack with vigilance will offer me higher single target DPS, which is, I would argue, when playing solo, the option you really, really want. I do have another negotiators build on my multiplayer character, and I use the negotiators backpack for that one. So adapting your playstyle to play differently under solo or multiplayer circumstances, I find is a better way to go. But negotiators, we all know what it does. It just shares the damage around, it shares the love, everyone gets some bullets. It's fun, it's interesting. Don't play this build anywhere near as much as I should do. It is a very, very, very powerful setup, but I don't know. It's just not me. America! I actually really like this build. It's one of my favourites. Don't play it anywhere near as often as I should do. Although, fun tidbit, technically, the higher SHD you are, the more powerful True Patriot becomes. And if you're like SHD 100k, of which I know of about 3 people that are like 100k plus, True Patriot is like, at that point, technically the most powerful set in the game, because the amount of health you have and the explosion scales with your armor and health, it ends up being silly a little bit. Although True Patriot does really work in a group, it also very, very much so is viable solo, and it's just fun. I mean, who doesn't like fireworks unless you're a dog owner, in which case, fair point. I respect that. If it ain't fun, it ain't bloody knuckles. This is one of my absolute favourite builds. It's one of my go-to for running around is my go-to for running around in the open world like a lunatic. It is just, it's just bloody knuckles. Like, you can be on death's door and still just be like, nah mate, I don't care. I'm just going to punch you to death anyway. Really couldn't care. And then you just heal through it. And just shoot stuff, and then punch stuff, and then shoot stuff, and then punch stuff. Technically, it is a really, really weak build compared to like other Lady Death as well as Hunter Fury builds out there. This is probably among using the like synergistic playstyles. This is probably the weakest of them. However, I don't care. It's fun. I like it. And I get to punch it. And because it's fun, I like it, and I get to punch it. It's bloody Knuckles. Up next is Tack Tips. This is a tip of the spear build. I don't use this too often because my accuracy with it is shocking. I'll always have these really awesome, amazing moments when no one's there to see it. And then the moment I'm recording or there's other people, it's just sort of like, how are you always dead? It's really annoying. Anyway, tip of the spear, Tack 50 build, probably one of the most powerful builds in the game, just because Tack 50 does silly things, and yeah. But I just suck with it. Good old lazy cheese. If you're new to the game, this is the build I recommend you farm for. Can be a bit difficult, obviously. It's Scorpio, 4-piece Hunter's Fury, and then 0 Fs for Perfect Unbreakable, and the setup for Perfect Opportunistic. I am running 2 blue cores. I am looking for pieces that allow me to swap them to red. But yeah, this is just pure lazy, pure cheesy. You can clear content up to heroic with 5 directives so easily, it's not even funny. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, oh no, I'm taking damage, I might die, only joking. Like, the damage is dumb, your survivability is dumb, the way in which you're able to play is dumb. Like, everything about just Scorpio with Hunter's Fury along with Perfect Opportunistic is just dumb. Like, you don't have to care about anything at all. With a few PFE mods you can even do this on Legendary. It's just stupid the level in which this just works at. Anyway, like butter. This is my Eclipse Protocol build. 4-piece Eclipse. I have a Golan holster with skill damage, status effect, and I've rolled the core to yellow. It's called a unicorn piece. Have fun with them. And the Vile Mask. And for some dumb reason, the enemies just don't spawn for ages, and I don't know why. But yes, Eclipse is a really handy set to have. I would recommend everyone get one in some form or capacity. If you're going to go for a damage style, this would be fire, bleed, etc. You want to use the Eclipse backpack. If you're going for a CC style, shock trap, foam, etc., you will want creeping death on a, I want to say Hannah Yu for skill haste, I think. I can't quite remember, but yeah. In solo, these work absolutely beautifully. They do start to fall off in terms of damage output in groups, although they are just generally really handy to have in a group. And then, yeah, just set the world on fire. Heartbreaker. I hate Heartbreaker. It's just too much of a fiddly mechanic for me. Either I've got to play a specialisation that I don't like playing, just so that I can use the laser pointer, or I've got to try and hit headshots, and I'm about as accurate as, I'm not going to say it, but you know what. And then just Kingbreaker on top of it. If you're going to use like Spotter and Flatline, Kingbreaker is kind of the best way to go, because it is the highest DPS possible with that combination. Like, not even FAMAS comes close. Like, the difference is actually quite staggering. Problem is, Kingbreaker's looking in more friggin' directions than bloody Jimmy Savile on a radio show. Jesus Christ. And I hate it. I always find myself in really shit situations. Like, I've hit that person in the head like 10 times now, and nope, not a single pulse. That's clearly hitting the head. That's hitting the head. But no, nothing's actually even happening. I just hate Heartbreaker. It does my head in. So we're just going to watch me die for like 5 minutes. Right, this is Pew Shield Pew. It is 4-piece Foundry with Vanguard. What's it called? Point Man for Perfect Vanguard. I am actually wanting to chain this to a Gila Guard piece with Intimidate. I'm just looking for one that has like crit chance, crit damage on it. And a DNH backpack with Adrenaline Rush. And that's basically it. All rolls are crit chance, crit damage, so that I can actually get some damage out. But yeah, the general gist of this is just run around, slap stuff. For normal open content such as this, I just stick with like the shotgun or the SMG that I'm running. On occasion, I will swap to the big shield and bring out the old Liberty. Can hit up to about 2.8 mil once I've got stacks going. It's quite fun. I run this on Legendary and just laugh at things. Always makes me giggle and be like, oh, you've got to put armor regen on Foundry. Foundry's actual bonus is armor regen. And if you're playing it correctly and like withstanding the right amount, you get like 160k armor regen per second. So why are you putting more on that? If you need more than that, then I don't know what to tell you, mate. You might want to try something different. Laetus deletus, which is Latin for I've got a big fucking mortar, go away. I run mine a bit different to most people. I run perfectly skilled. I would recommend grab yourself a pair of yellow contractors though. You want skill damage on them and then just roll it to skill tier. But yeah, I run mine with perfectly skilled. I used to do it with glass cannon because obviously big booms, more damage. However, I did find that on occasion I would get rushed, and when all you do is make things explode, you can't really make them explode next to you because you explode with them. So I needed options, and I found that using perfectly skilled gave me that option, because it doesn't happen too often, but more often than not it does help out, and I'm able to basically trigger my cooldowns constantly resetting. This helps with CC, keeps things moving, because typically your Seekers aren't really going to be doing much. It's all from the mortar. The Seekers just keep things moving around and hopefully not bothering you too much. Or they can actually do some decent damage and pick off stragglers. I just found perfectly skilled was a better way for me personally, especially when playing solo a lot, because I can just throw more seekers. And the last build on the list is my crit skills. This is basically, maybe not this exact way, but this is how I'd recommend anyone running a skill build to run it. There's no skill haste, especially with like drone and turret. You don't need it. Waveform doesn't give you that much. It will give you 15% on average. Memento will give you 30% per skill, as well as skill health, duration, efficiency. Well, efficiency is all of it. Yeah, all of it. It just works out so much better, along with the fact then you're near enough doubling your damage from your capacitor anyway. I mean, mine hits like 480k a shot at max stacks with everything else going on. There are builds where you can get like 590,000 damage. It basically becomes a DPS build, but your skills actually put in work as well. It's just how I would recommend people play it, and for the most part, for most people I know, this is actually how they run their actual skill builds. Anyway, that is going to be it. I'm going to leave you with this last little bit of footage. They are the builds I run on Character 1. Like I said, they're all intended for solo purposes. There is one build that I haven't shown, which is the top one on the list. I mean, you might have caught a glimpse of it, but something's coming up with that pretty soon. I'm not looking for advice or weird ways to change my builds, by the way. I've got them, other than the Heartbreaker build, which is probably just going to get deleted. They're all exactly how I like them. Okay, there are better ways to run them. I don't care. Anyway, have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.